I'm Purred Happily, and welcome to You Heard with Purred. And the story of this next segment is that they are alone, together. You heard?
That's right. You heard it from Purred Happily. We are alone together, and we are back with Season 2, Episode 4. And this week we got a brand new song called Don't Worry For You. So we'll be sure to bring in the boys in just a few minutes. But before that, let me tell you a little bit about how we do Alone Together every week. So Alone Together is all about creativity, about breaking down barriers, about bringing you more music more regularly than we ever have before. But we're all separate, we're all alone, we're all trying to still socially distance to the best of our abilities. So this week, like every other week, Phil sent me a song idea. I took whatever I wanted and added it to that song and did not send it back to Phil. Phil sent it on to Benji. Nope, I sent it on to Benji. Benji added whatever he wanted to that song. Did not send it back to me or Philip. He sent it on to Tamir. Tamir added whatever he wanted. Then Tamir sent it on to Nate. And Nate mixed it, produced it, kind of made it exactly what he thought the song should be. And none of us have heard it. We just got the song a few minutes ago, a little bit earlier than the last week. So give Nate a big thumbs up. And if you're watching from home, be sure to say hello in the comments. And let's go ahead and bring in the boys. All right, welcome back,
Woo!
boys.
Boy time.
Boy time.
I love this new intro music and cool. Oh,
Nate down.
Hey guys,
Oh my God.
This is what happens when you do
that
it
just
live.
happened.
All right.
Do it live.
That's
I
what
was
happens
literally
when you,
about to say super professional for all of us.
That's right. You know, it's just really
Oh,
legit.
man.
Purred
That's
happily
what happens
introducing us.
when you're a person who likes to gesticulate. So,
I love it.
yeah, that was fun.
Well, we got 2 minutes, so I want to make sure we get to our question. For all of you at home, be sure to answer as well. Our question this week for the boys is, what food should not exist? Emphasis on not exist. And as always, I'm going to kick it off to Phil because he thinks fast on his feet. So, Philip, what food should not exist?
I gotta say shrimpies because they are too popular.
What are
and I don't
shrimpies?
shrimp, just shrimp.
Oh,
I call them shrimpies. Sorry, sometimes I forget that you all don't live with me. But yeah,
Should not exist.
They're too popular. They're too popular. I don't want them.
Fair enough. All right. Tamir, what food should not exist? Oh, I cannot hear Tamir. Tamir, I think you're muted.
That's fine.
There you're back.
Whatever food is Fizz's favorite food because shrimpies are great and I will not stand
fair.
such
I appreciate the
such
retaliation.
slander. So
I
yeah.
appreciate it. I appreciate
What
it.
is
All
your
right.
favorite food, by the way, Fizz? I need to know this.
Honestly, it's so boring. Bagel with cream cheese.
Yeah,
It's
they
good,
gotta
though.
go.
Plain
I
bagel,
love
plain
them, but
cream
they
cheese?
gotta go. You're talking trash about
No,
shrimpies.
sesame bagel. Sesame bagel, plain cream cheese.
Benji, what food should not exist?
Thank you for this question, Colin. You did go with what I wanted
Yeah,
last week,
I
so I
did.
could continue my crusade against the Uncrustables taco bites, which I have just opened. I hope my phone. Look at
There we
that.
go. We got it.
That's just a
Oh.
thing of meat and a.
Yum. That's a
I hate
Hot
it.
That's
It's
fair.
It's literally like okay.
Bread and
Imagine
meat.
a hot pocket, but with the worst shell and worse things inside, and it's an affront to God. That's what you're
That's an
imagining.
affront to God. All right. Nate, real quick. Food that should not exist. You got 5 seconds.
cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
I hate
We
It
can
sucks.
explore that later. I love cauliflower. It's a perfect food. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say fungus because... Oh, sorry. I mean mushrooms because it's fungus.
I love mushrooms.
There's absolutely
I
no
love
reason that we
mushrooms.
should be eating fungus. And a brand new song in 3, 2, 1...
You said I wasn't alright, I said I wasn't alright. That made you smile before, but now we're too far gone. I've been a spiral down now for too long. worry about me. If you have to leave, don't worry. Don't worry about me. Don't worry. Don't worry about me. I swear I'll be alright. This ain't your flight. I won't be alone.
That's
We're
a
done.
done.
Welcome back, boys. Oh my gosh. That song is awesome. There's so much good, like, subtle stuff thrown in, all peppered throughout. This was a song that we got a lot more from Phil than some weeks. There's some weeks where Phil's like, here is one vocal part and one small guitar part. But this song, we got a lot from Phil, and then I changed it up a bunch, and then you all changed it up a bunch, and then Nate changed it up a bunch, and then here we are. That song was really cool, and that ending, it builds, and it builds. So let us know what you think of Don't Worry in the comments. As always, we like to bring in the boys, do the boys. We like to premiere the song, and then we like to go into the process and break down the song. So we're going to move into that section now where we listen to the song section by section, kind of person by person, and what each person added. So since we got it from Philip first, we're going to go ahead and bring in Philip.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Philip.
Now, I'm gonna post a little bit about what I did there, Colin. If you want to throw it up on the screen.
Yeah.
I was having some writer's block, and I revisited some old tracks. Colin, I don't know if you even recognize this. It was formerly known as Bill, which is a placeholder name, and it was a dance track. It was an electronic dance track, and it had a totally different vibe. And then I realized that it had this, the riff itself had this similarity to like Rusted Root or some like jam band, and I realized that it could like open up in a more, not like jam band way, but just like the acoustic elements needed to be highlighted more than the electronic elements. And a few electronic elements did stay in, which like is part of why the track was so big. But this one was like almost indistinguishable from what it started as years ago. I resurrected it, and I just completely reworked it so it felt much warmer. I think that riff just felt really cold.
The guitar, the acoustic
The guitar riff
now.
felt cold with synthesizers, and it started to feel really warm with acoustic guitars and strings and all that. And so, yeah, that was really cool. It was eye-opening for me. You know, you take a chance with something like that, and you never know how it's going to pan out. But you all reworked it and like restructured it, and that's awesome too. And as is always the case, I'm excited to hear it again because now I'll have a little bit more of my bearings as to what I'm listening to.
Yeah, that's always the fun part about doing this live is that like we are literally hearing this live for the first time and trying to take in all the parts that have been added to it.
Right.
And now that you say it, I totally know. Like this was one years ago. You're like, I kind of like this idea, but it was all digital, and now it's all strings and it's acoustic guitar, and it's just a totally different song. So the idea isn't revisit something old to help yourself on a new project necessarily, but revisit something old and say like, oh, what does 2020 Philip think about this song idea, and does it spark something new for me? Because this song is not at all what I heard when you first were playing with it a long time ago.
No, not at all. And you know, you're less precious 4 years down the road, right? Like it doesn't feel as like, oh, I can't change a thing. It's like, nah, it's been around for a while. Let's try it a different way. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, very cool. And we're getting to the end now, which is definitely my favorite part of the song. So I'm going to go ahead and the end is my favorite part, Phil. Don't read too much into that. So I got this from Phil, what you just heard, and this is what I added. So Phil had played around with a lot of different ideas in this song like he typically does, and just kind of played around with some digital parts and some percussion parts, and I kind of took that as a starting point. And then the big thing I was looking for is what's the underlying rhythm of what I want in this song. And for me, that it's in the chorus, it's that do do cat do do cat do do cat do is like the main rhythmic flow that I was looking for, and so I tried to bring that out throughout the song. And then I tried to just use the drums simplistically to drive the song forward and to really highlight the distinct different parts, because Philip set up all these really great parts. Sometimes I play with arrangement and kind of make the arrangement what I want it to be. This week I didn't have to change any arrangement. I just kind of did some extra fun things to build into different arrangements and to help the song move forward. And I have all these like super like distant sounding things. But I kind of was building on what Phil gave me, which was an organic sound. So as opposed to a lot of digital sounds, I'm going with a lot of like the clapping and a lot more organic sounds than I do some weeks where I go mostly digital. It's live drums, it's clapping, it's claves and timbales. Yes, timbales and congas and all those things, bongos. Those are the words I was looking for. So just playing with all of it. And then I have a lot of swells. In this case, I'm actually using a hi-hat to make a swell sound. And in other parts, I have larger like cymbal swells into new sections. And you just take that and you throw it all together and you just keep adding more stuff. And that's basically the way that I write music, is to just add. Benji loves minimalist. I love maximalist. So here we are with a maximalist rock pop song with an organic leaning. So I took everything Phil sent me, I'd cut out some of his parts, I'd rearrange a little bit, and then added all this and then sent it on to Benji. So let's go ahead and bring in Benji and hear what Benji added to this song. I'm already
Hola.
here. Hello.
Sorry if I keep looking over my shoulder. I just put one of those cones on my cat, and I'm making sure he's not ruining my room. But hello.
Trying to get it off.
Yeah, so this week was an interesting week for me. I like accidentally like super like hurt my abs earlier this week. You know, gym stuff, tough guy stuff. And
I know all about
I
that.
was like in a lot of pain actually, so I kind of had that like weird focus that you get when like you need something done, and you just need to like shut everything else off. So I went pretty minimal with what I had going on this week. So I usually send a bunch of guitar tracks. I usually send like, you know, anywhere between 5 and 8 guitar tracks. And I think I only sent 3 at the most. Maybe there was like a 4th track that added on a little sparkle on top, but it was mainly just like one long take through where I was doing a bunch of swells and because I felt that sort of like, I guess the word is like sort of like epic is in the sense of like an epic landscape or something like that. And so I kind of wanted to go in with that. So I had a lot of like swells, which is where you fade a note in instead of fading a note out. So it sort of goes like a violin bow almost. And then I did a lot of these tremolo pickings. Basically, I did a lot of what I do in another band I play in, which is a post-rock band. And the whole thing about there is creating these sort of epic movie soundtrack style textures. So that's really what I went for this week. And then I just had fun with the solo where I played half the solo with 2 fingers because I had a slide on my hand for the second half of the solo. So usually I would record those parts like separate. So I would do the part that I don't have on my slide. I would like, you know, just record that normal, and then I would record the slide part. But because I was like hurting and I was like, I just need to be done and I need to be able to focus on different things, I just did them both at the same time. So I like somehow managed the first half of the solo, just kind of figuring it out, and then slid into the slide part for the second half. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it was an interesting week this week, but it got done, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and harnessing like we've talked about in past episodes, harnessing limitations and then making something like you are bringing in experiences from other bands and bringing those tools that you've brought in from other areas but haven't used necessarily as much in what we've done together, and like harnessed all that together and added it to this song to make it epic and swelly and made sounds that are not typically guitar tones. Like these are not things that a lot of people immediately recognize as guitars, but you did it masterfully.
Yeah, I guess what you could say is like this is probably the most like synthesized version of me, because it's the most like it's not me like, you know, trying or experimenting on anything. It was me just like buckling down, blinders on. Also, I just have to address this. I just got a text message from my mom. No, I didn't actually hurt my abs at the gym. That was a joke because I don't go to the gym. I hurt them at work.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, so it was really like just me focusing on exactly what I like. Basically, like there wasn't any like experimentation. It was just naturally what would I play, how would I approach this, and it's very like synthesized with that experience from other bands and everything to like this is very close to what if you give me a guitar and tell me to play, this is probably what's going to come out of it.
interesting.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, you crushed it as always. And so then you took this and you told us that you did not spend a lot of time on this. You kind of crushed it, worked swiftly through the pain, as you said, and then you sent it on to Tamir. So let's go ahead and bring in our ASMR expert, Tamir. Hello, Tamir.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about what you added this week.
Okie dokie. So
A slide right off the bat.
Yes, those are too much fun. Way too much fun. But yeah, so for me personally, stark difference compared to last week in terms of how much time I had to work on this, because Ben sent it to me like pretty early. Like I had like at least one extra day to work on it. So that was really nice. It took a lot of potential stress off. So that, and then is there anything else? I don't know. But yeah, so in terms of my approach to this, you know, Ben sent it to me. He was like, you know, not sure what I did here exactly, but here you go. And I like what he did because he failed to mention he and I are in that post-rock band together.
Oh.
But yeah, I was really on board with the very delicate guitar work that was going on. The really like the drums were really, really like vibrant and upbeat, I felt like. And it put me in a sort of explosions in the sky mood, at least from a more of a, not necessarily a songwriting standpoint, but more so of a, I was just reminded of the way certain instruments stick out, because I don't want to go on too much of a tangent about them because they are one of my favorite bands, but I like how boomy the drums sound on a lot of their records, like, and, you know, obviously the really delicate guitar parts. So I just kind of wanted to bring in at least a bass tone that provided enough roundness and enough that filled out that type of space that I think was needed. And nothing too aggressive in terms of the attack. So I just used, again, I've just been using just my fingers for picking and stuff like that. So that, and then there's one little guitar part that I added because I was initially thinking I would do a vocal harmony with that boom ba da, that part.
Okay.
I was initially gonna try and do that, but I don't really have the right equipment to record vocal parts. So I thought, let me just get something, just like a nice, fairly mid-focused guitar tone, and just do that. I think that would work, and sounds like it worked.
Yeah,
I'm
so
glad
that's
Nate
the
kept
guitar.
it.
That's the little guitar part that you added.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's that little bit. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, not much else to say other than that. I just, yeah.
You had the extra time, so you took it and you just thought, what comes to me, I'm going to use it. I'm going to harness it.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
awesome. Well, it sounds great. So then you took that. You took everything Benji gave you, everything I gave you, everything Philip gave you. You sent it on to Nate. And let's see how Nate made sense of the hot mess that we send him every week. Hello, Nate.
Hi.
Tell us about this hot mess.
Well, so it was a lot of tracks. I mean, I think I got somewhere between like 50 to 70 to 75, maybe 80 tracks. It was a lot. It might have been, it happened again. And I just almost spilt my beer.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, but it's all good. So got a lot of tracks, and then I think maybe some of that was also the fact that I have a new busing structure and kind of how I route tracks to other tracks and then make it so, updated Pro Tools means updated template. But anyway, so I got a lot of tracks this week from y'all, and my mix tip, I have a big mix tip and then I have a small mix tip.
Okay, big mix
tip is, most of those tracks were stereo, and everybody loves stereo tracks. They sound nice and big and spread out and airy and open, and there's some subtle differences between the things that are coming through the left ear and the right ear. That is always like, nobody doesn't love a good stereo track. But the ultimate truth to stereo tracks is sometimes when you're trying to shove 90 of them through ultimately
one stereo track
to one stereo track, you kind of have to make some sacrifices. And so ultimately there were a good probably 20 tracks that I either used a certain plugin called the down mixer, which just makes it mono, or I literally just panned them both to the center, or panned them both to the left a good amount of, but basically point being, sometimes you just got to make stereo tracks two track sources, one single track, and maybe some of that width and maybe some of that complexity and exciting stuff about it goes away, but ultimately you can create more space more efficiently and not have to resort to like cutting out a bunch of frequencies with an EQ or something like that.
When ultimately you get more stereo width, because it's, as opposed to panning everything like this and everything has a little bit in both ears, you get like the guitars over here and the synths over here.
Right, exactly.
And, Dave Pensado refers to a bunch of stereo tracks layered on top of each other as big mono. Like, you ultimately just end up with something that doesn't actually sound wide because everything's just in both ears the whole time anyway.
Right,
so,
exactly.
So let's hear that your little mix tip.
Second but little mix tip. Sometimes if you have like a nice like punchy and clicky kick drum, that's always nice too, but sometimes that just doesn't work for the song. And so this week I low passed the kick drum, and so basically I took everything above a certain frequency and just chopped it off completely. And so I low passed it down to a certain point and made kind of the attack of the kick drum, instead of it being like really high at like 5K and above, I made it at 1K, and it's kind of like knocky and
interesting.
Kind
so
of,
instead of being
like,
kind of a clicky kick, you
it's
have
more
like
of like
a warm,
yeah, exactly. But obviously with enough, low end to keep it extended sounding. But sometimes, refocusing your attack is exactly what you need to do. If a certain sound isn't working, maybe sometimes just changing something about the frequency spectrum or of it, or like where certain things are attacking and certain things are decaying, will make the difference.
Interesting. So find a different sweet spot and highlight that instead. I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, so we're bringing all the boys back in. Nope, not yet. We're talking to Philip first, just about the lyrics of the song. So, Philip,
I was already camera ready.
He was.
I will say this, Nate. What you were saying was reminding me. If you listen to Van Halen, especially the middle period, they
the greatest band in the world. You mean?
Well, yeah, but the drums, they overdid it. They overdo the low pass filter. And you lose.
Occasionally,
it feels like tap, 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 tap. But anyways, that was on top of mind because I've been listening to a lot of Van Halen. This song is another one of those songs where first thought, best thought. A few places where I wanted to nitpick the lyrics, but instead I just thought, you know what? It felt right. It feels good with the groove. And I am blanking on his name. The lead singer of Earth, Wind & Fire once said that the groove is more important than the lyrics. Make sure the lyrics don't get in the way of the groove. And that was in reference to September. Body, I said that you remember.
Interesting.
Yeah, so not something that I live by, but every once in a while you gotta take that advice. And if it's grooving, if syllabically and phonetically it's working for you, Just get out of the way.
Don't get in the way of your syllabics.
Exactly.
That's what I always say.
That's what Benji always says.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what we always say.
Follow the syllables sometimes. What's an example of a line in this song where you follow the syllables? Or where it's grooving and you
specifically, this is funny. It's actually so close. Maybe that's what subliminally made me think of it. But at the beginning, where it's like bambada, I was like, I should say something there, and then I was like, no, it's fun. It's more fun to just go like bambada. The part maybe about the second verse where it's sort of a riff on TV episodes. You've seen all my episodes. You know they run on time.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
First thought, best thought. I love it. I thought
First
that
thought,
line was
best
great.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense that if maybe next time anyone hears like a phrase about TV episodes running, it will stick with them, and that's the idea.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, this time for real, let's actually bring all the boys back in. Welcome back, boys. So,
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you, boys.
It's been a minute. Hi.
what do we think of the song this week?
It's
I
good.
think it's
I liked it.
delightful.
It was a lot of fun. It's cool to hear. This is just a me thing, but it's cool to hear like how totally like gone, not focused I was, and I was like, oh no, that sounds pretty good.
No, it sounds great.
It worked out.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to
It's-
push through.
It is fun to send like 90 track. No, I didn't send 90, but I was like, this was up there as far as how many I sent, and then to hear what gets taken out and what gets left is fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said earlier,
try to do
sometimes we get a lot
the song
from Phil and we
justice.
don't. A lot of people talking at once.
I just want to play these songs live. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to play live shows.
Yeah,
I
this
wanna
was one
hug
of
you
the.
guys.
This was definitely a song this week where I was like, "Ooh, I just want to do that." As like an opening. That would just be a.
You
sweet
don't like
opener.
playing drum
That's
beats
true.
like
I
that. You
don't.
like
You're
playing.
right.
You like playing really like
Blast
basic
beats.
like Beatles like. Like that's what you're about.
Yeah,
The
I'm
only
very
live
Ringo.
song we'll play from the first LP is verse 2 of Seth Jordan's from now on.
Everybody's favorite part of our live sets. Awesome. All right. Well, if you are just tuning in, we're about to play our brand new song, Don't Worry For You, one more time. This song will be available on Patreon, and we'll be back next Thursday with yet another Alone Together brand new song that none of us have heard yet. I don't even know if Phil has started thinking about it yet. So we got a week to
it's
write
well
a
in the
new
works.
song. Okay. So Phil's got it working, and between now and
Time
next
you're
week, we're going to
inspired.
write an entire song. So we will see you next Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Patreon members, go check the song out. It's going to be up as soon as we're done with this live stream, and see you next week.
You said I wasn't alright, I said I wasn't alright. That made you smile before, but now we're too far gone. I've been a spiral down now for 2 long days. I gotta write this out, you don't have to stay. I swear I'll be alright. This ain't your fight. for a little while.